So I actually don't know what to do now because I made my video. I noticed that my lucky charm was not in the shot the whole time, which made me feel concerned, and that it was something that was like, okay, I'm expressing stuff, but like something about this is like part of something that not lucky for me. And then I afterwards was listening to my video, watching the video, listening to what I was saying, and I felt inspired to clean. So I cleaned for half an hour, about like 40 minutes, and I cleaned under my sink and I like organized all the garbage and like, you know, everything's organized under there and it's in the creativity quad. And then I remembered that like it's someone's birthday was really important in my life. And I was like, wait a second, because everything that I was talking about, it's like I'm not having fun experiencing these things. And although I talk about them like, you know, oh, I'm just describing things to you and I'm chill, when I'm experiencing things, I'm not chill. Like it scares me. It freaks me out. Like I'm uncomfortable, and there's this process of like suspending the experiences in a kind of like holding all this until a time when it can be processed and labeled accurately, known for like for what it is, so that I know what to do with it. The world's never gonna give that to me ever. Like who's gonna show up in your life and like actually let me try to actually think about it. Like who's gonna actually be like, hi, I've showed up and all the things that you've described, they are this. And then I would be like, oh, either like the only two options are they are what you think they are or they are something else. So if they are what you think they are like describing this like worst reality possible, and therefore like what you should like take it seriously, and be like, there are people who are doing clandestine shit who are trying to get an advantage over me, to harm me, and to lock me into like situations or positions that are not what I would want for myself, most definitely, to say it like in the most like non upsetting way possible. And so, and the fact that no one in the world, when you go outside or interact with people, what will be the verb? Like mirrors that reality back to you, acknowledges that reality back to you, validates that reality, validates that that is reality back to you. You're just kind of like floating in this like suspended state of unprocessed reality. It's not disbelief, and it's not ignoring. It's literally like when people don't acknowledge or validate or say, yeah, that happened, and that happened because someone did something, because what they were doing had an intention or a thought behind it, and that thought either had a harmful effect with it as its intention, or it was something that that person did do for some other reason. Like what, you know what I mean? Do you see how like it's not processed? And so I'm having a hard time. It's like, right, but like what you're saying is like you need to level up to the next level where you're like, people won't ever show up for me to acknowledge or validate my reality experience, my experience of reality, my allotted experience of reality. Am I white? I am not white. Do I live in a world of white people? I do. Do these white people respect me as their equals? Subconsciously. Do you think you walk around a bunch of people who subconsciously respect you as their equals? And it's like, I don't think so. Because they're always snickering at me. I can't explain to you, like, if you're a white American, you have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. Because in America, this does not happen. Because Martin Luther King Jr. goddamn fucking died as a blood sacrifice to change the cultural texture of the American psyche, and no one is aware of it because there's no contrast that they can compare it to, because people are born and they are what their lifetime has allotted them to perceive. They don't think about a time of life during which they weren't alive as something that was as real as their lifetime. And so people don't have this like understanding, like, hi, like, if they're born in a post Martin Luther King Jr. time, which is, most people, they know America to be what it is now. And that's all they have as experience of what it is. They have no feeling of America before Martin Luther King Jr. And so certain things are normal. It's like, yeah, America's terrible, especially now. It's like a fucking police state. Like, I saw something yesterday about Trump putting up a website, aliens.gov, where I guess, like, the point was that he was saying that, like, illegal immigrants were the aliens and they need to be deported, and there was, like, a phone number for a tip line to ICE. And I was like, did I just read some fucking George Orwell dystopian novel plot? Like, what the fuck are you talking to me? What are you talking about? This is not real. There's no fucking way this is a domain with a .gov at the end. There's no fucking way this is real. This is not fucking real. And so then I was like, well, I guess it's real. Oh my god, Trump is a white supremacist. I did not know that. Because people always act like nothing terrible is happening. Even when I'm watching Neil deGrasse Tyson and he's sitting there with Chuck, Lord, whatever his name, Lord Chuck, whatever his name is, the comedian. And he's like, he does that, like, impression of Trump being like, whatever the fuck, you feel me? When he, like, does his impressions of Trump, it's like, we get that he's making fun of Trump, but because it's still, like, a light joke, it kind of, like, it, like, fulfills this, like, weird function of making it all kind of, like, not a big deal. That's what it really does. So people are talking about things, but they're not talking about things. They're not acknowledging the reality that is happening. And that creates a kind of strange predicament for a mind like mine, who's like, things are harmful. And the future is the present, just a few paces ahead. So if in this moment you're lightly talking about this and making a joke about it, a few frames down the line, which is the future, if you're not changing your attitude of lightness, because what you're saying is, when you're making a joke of doing an impression of Trump and Neil deGrasse Tyson is sitting next to you laughing, there's no actual urgency or fear or outrage or horror, which are the proper emotions you're supposed to be communicating, embodying, because you guys are leaders of the intellectual culture of the country. You're the leaders of the intellectual culture of the more sane half of Americans, which are like the democratic liberals. You guys at least acknowledge, like, the violent identity that is the being that is America. Republicans don't acknowledge it. They're like, they have like a blind, like, they have blind goggles on. Also, white people in this society, because anytime I speak, they start to fucking, they mimic all the time. Like, they're always trying to mimic anything I do. It's really bizarre. It's very weird. It's all the time. It's really creepy. And it's like, I'm sensing right now, like, how, like, wow, like, the white people in this society are so clueless, yes, but they're worse than that. Like, they're clueless and they're low class in intellectual, like, nature. So like they're just going down a bad fucking future. There's nothing to say. But like for me, like living inside of it, it's like it's a weird thing because I walk around and they're people. I see them. They're around me. And then like every single time people stare at me too long all the time. Like it sounds like what like maybe she's saying things that are like out of proportion. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I get on the subway, people are looking at me. I'm talking about like grown ass people who should know better are just like looking at me for too long. You know? Or people are like yesterday I was working and somebody was like using the N word. They see me, all of a sudden they're using the N word with whomever they are next to. This happened actually twice this week, you know? And I'm just like, and I'm like, wow, like, and in the moment, because I'm in this like fugue state is what I want to say. It might not be accurate as far as like the science of psychology, but I'm in this kind of like suspending of my own mental ability to comprehend reality state, because if I comprehend how bad it is fully, I don't know how function, because I won't be able to be out in society making money. I'll just be like, I can't be with you people in space, having you interact with me from this racist place.